It's an extra wrap-up the day after Liverpool got battered at Wembley by Spurs. Some of the worst defending I've seen for a long, long time from a Liverpool side. That a half an hour spell there where they were just all over the show. Dejan Lovren, an absolute mess. The keeper at fault for at least 2 of the goals, I would say. Matip no better either. The manager losing his head even a little bit. I thought his body language was a bit mad. But yeah, we just thought we'd do a little video, have a chat about it all. Myself and Josh Sexton. We just had our Anfield app content meeting. We're trying to work out what we're going to talk about this week, work out what we're going to write about. But one of the first things I mentioned there, Josh, is that, you know, in the press conference and even sort of on the sidelines during the game, I thought Klopp, you know, we know he's an emotional man and all that sort of thing, but I don't know. I mean, we did a podcast last week with a sports psychologist, Damien Hughes, and he talked about consistency of message. And one of the things he talked about was, you know, Klopp, for instance, talked about that the defenders we've got at the club, they couldn't be bettered, if you like. There wasn't loads in the world that were better than them. Now, his actual actions say different, don't they? And what he's saying in the press conference now says different as well. And, you know, in the game itself, he doesn't bring Klavan on. That's his third choice centre-half, who he signed and now seemingly won't use in a match like that and instead shuffles 2 or 3 positions. And there isn't a consistency of message now, is there? I mean, he literally said he could defend one of the goals better wearing a pair of trainers. Now, I'm not sure who that helps saying that type of thing.
No, and I think that when he first made the comment about the centre-halves, most people saw it as quite deluded anyway, and then it's obviously proved to be that way now. I think he almost needed this in a way. He needed to, like, it to be exhibited how poor these defenders can be on their day, and you know that battering has hopefully showed him, and it's going to make some changes now.
Yeah, I mean, I wrote something post-match yesterday, and one of the things I was saying in that piece was that, you know, Klopp's built a lot of what he's done so far on faith. You know, he wants us to have faith in Liverpool, in him, in that they can get results. He's talking about doubters to believers and all that sort of thing. Kind of feels to me that the problem now is some of the believers are starting to doubt. And I think one of the problems with Klopp is that he himself has had a problem with faith, in that he has put too much faith in players that simply aren't good enough. So we're seeing Simon Mignolet repeatedly make mistakes. We're seeing Dejan Lovren repeatedly make mistakes in big games, in big moments. And to me, that they are now players that I find it hard as a fan watching to trust. And it must be the same if you're playing alongside them, in front of them. How can you trust these players when they make basic mistakes, when they're not providing, they're not doing the job, essentially? And so, you know, that they were given long-term contracts at the club with Klopp at the scene, if you like, that's got to start to rank as a mistake. I'm not for 1 second saying Klopp needs to go, needs to get out the club, any of that nonsense, absolutely not. But what I am saying is that for whatever reason, whether it's recruitment, whether it's the people in the background, whether it's the sporting director, the goalie's not good enough, the centre-halves aren't good enough, and both should have been improved on in the last window.
Yeah, and it's interesting, there's usually been sort of infighting between Liverpool fans in terms of what's actually, you know, the problem at the club, whether it's a system which makes us not be able to defend as well. But yesterday it seemed to really expose the individuals. I know for a couple of the goals we could be accused of playing a high line, but Lovren and Mignolet and Matip as well yesterday is just not good enough.
Yeah, really poor defending all round. And I mean, look, where do Liverpool go from here now, I guess, is the next question, and that's what we'll be getting into this week. We've got a free show today. There'll be a review. We're doing all the subscription shows that we always do. Some of them are a little bit different as well, by the way, in case, you know, you don't want to get involved in how bad Liverpool are at the moment. We have got Chief Superintendent Owen West this week, who is from the West Yorkshire Police Force, and he's got a different approach to policing of fans to what maybe people are used to. Quite refreshing to listen to, actually, and that's going to be another free podcast that's well worth a listen. Damien Hughes last week, which I mentioned there, that's worth a listen if you haven't already caught up with that. That isn't just people moaning and griping like I'm doing. So, you know, there's different stuff on the Anfield app. It's still going to be worth a try. It's still going to be worth your time. But where do Liverpool go from here now? 12 points behind Manchester City in the league. Already, it's not even Halloween, and I think we're talking about top 4 at best for Liverpool. That's hard to take. We're already out the League Cup. The Champions League remains in the balance, although Liverpool should get through that group. But then this is the problem, isn't it? We keep saying Liverpool should do things, should beat teams, and then they
should
don't.
have signed some new centre halves in the summer.
Should have signed centre half. I mean, it just kind of feels like you know. I talked about trust. You can't trust what you're going to get out of Liverpool right now, can you?
No, and I think that's almost the case, particularly for some of them players. The fact that, like you say before, Klopp has shown so much faith in, and yesterday none of them are repaying it, and it's really interesting that, you know, he came out and he did sort of do his usual way, he protects the players, and he protected Lovren to an extent, but he almost brought Matip into it as well, saying, well, he was no worse than Joel. So it's like he's finally lost it with them.
Yeah, he does seem to have lost his right, but he has got a week to work with them. No midweek match this week. The next game, of course, is at Anfield against Huddersfield. We'll be previewing that. We'll be speaking to Huddersfield fans. We'll be doing all the usual Anfield wrap stuff. So stay tuned, stay with us. Follow us on all the social media channels. Up the Reds.